ChatGPT said, Ava's story began on a Sunday morning that should have felt calm, but instead carried a quiet storm she didn't see coming. She woke early, hoping for a peaceful start, when her phone buzzed with her mother's name flashing across the screen. Ava answered with the usual gentle tone she used around her family. But the moment her mother spoke, something inside her tightened. Her mother's voice was bright, overflowing with pride as she said, Ava, your sister just bought a beautiful home. You should see the pictures. She's doing so well. The words landed with surprising weight. Ava sat up straighter, unsure why her chest suddenly felt heavy. Her mother's excitement was real, sincere even, but it wasn't the news that bothered Ava. It was the tone. A tone she had heard all her life. It was the tone reserved for Lila, the daughter who could do no wrong, the daughter who always shined without trying. For years, Ava had learned to swallow the sting of comparison, but today it dug deeper, sharper, as if someone pressed an old bruise too hard. She forced a smile into her voice and said she was happy for Lila, but the smile never reached her heart. When the call ended, Ava sat in silence, her hand resting against the cooling mug of coffee. She tried to shake the feeling, telling herself she was overreacting, but the knot in her stomach didn't ease. She checked the family group chat only to see her mother's message copied there, followed by a flood of pictures Lila had just posted. The house's front porch, the bright kitchen, the yard that stretched farther than Ava expected. Every photo came with a caption, "Finally mine," or "Hard work pays off," all wrapped in cheerful colors and hopeful emojis. And then came the comments. Aunts, uncles, cousins, distant relatives who rarely checked on Ava filled the chat with praise for Lila. "So proud of you. You're amazing. You deserve this." The messages piled up, each one chipper and warm, each one a reminder that Lila was the center of the family story. Each time her mother responded with another glowing message. The knot inside Ava twisted. Not one person asked how Ava was doing. Not one person wondered what she had been working toward. If they had asked, they would have learned something big. Something Ava had been quietly holding close like a fragile secret. 2 days earlier, she had signed the final papers on her own place, a modern condo with sleek lines and a stunning view of the city. It cost her nearly everything she'd saved, almost $920,000. The number still made her chest flutter, but in a good way. She had worked for years, late nights, saved paychecks, careful planning, and the condo was the proof of it all. She had imagined telling her family. She had imagined her mother's surprise, her pride. She had imagined Lila hugging her and saying, "Wow, Ava, you did it." She thought maybe, just maybe, she would finally feel seen. But now, as she stared at the glowing trail of praise for her sister, something inside her cracked. Her excitement dried up, replaced by a low ache she couldn't ignore. She felt like her achievement had already been dismissed before she even had the chance to share it. A cold thought formed in her mind, quiet but sharp. Why should I stay silent? Why shouldn't they see what I've done? The thought startled her. Ava wasn't the type to seek attention. She was the quiet one, the steady one, the one who never made waves. But years of being overlooked left a mark, and today, that mark pulsed like a bruise pressed by an invisible thumb. Scrolling through the photos again, she felt a flash of frustration. Not jealousy. She wasn't jealous of her sister, but hurt. Deep, unspoken hurt. Years of watching Lila get praised for things Ava had quietly accomplished too. Years of feeling like the second choice, the afterthought in her own family story. Her phone buzzed with another message from her mother. "Look at this one. Isn't she amazing?" Ava dropped her gaze to her lap. That single sentence flipped a switch she didn't know she had. She opened her photo gallery. Her condo pictures were already there, taken minutes after the realtor handed her the keys. The afternoon light had spilled across the hardwood floors. The balcony view showed the river shining like glass. The kitchen, though small, gleamed with brand new appliances. The place looked alive, promising hers. When she first saw the photos, she felt proud. Now, as she held her phone, she felt something more complicated, a mix of pride and urgency, like she needed to show the world she wasn't the shadow everyone made her out to be. She selected a handful of the best pictures. Her thumb hovered over the group chat. She hesitated, not because she doubted the condo. She loved it, but because she could feel the shift happening inside her. Posting the photos wasn't just about sharing news anymore. It was about proving something. It was about saying, without words, I matter too. That thought alone made her pulse quicken. It felt bold, it felt dangerous. It felt like a piece of her she had never allowed herself to use, a hidden part that wanted to stand tall instead of staying quiet. Her mind raced. Part of her whispered, don't do it. You'll look petty. You'll look like you're competing. But another part, louder and sharper, pushed back. Why shouldn't you show them what you've achieved? Why should your success stay invisible while you applaud everyone else? She clicked the upload button. As the photos loaded, Ava felt a strange rush, as if she had stepped onto a moving train she couldn't get off. She added a simple caption. Closed on my new condo this week. No emojis, no exclamation marks. Just the truth. Before she could question herself, she hit send. The message sat in the chat for 3 seconds before the seen by indicators appeared, one after another. Then the typing bubbles flickered on. Then off. Then on again. The air around Ava felt tight, charged, as if the room itself was waiting with her. Her mother was the first to respond. The message came slowly. Only 4 words. Oh, that's very nice. No excitement, no pride. Just a stiff, awkward line that dropped into the chat like a stone disappearing into water. Ava stared at the screen, unsure whether she expected more. Maybe she had hoped for shock or joy or even surprise. That very nice felt like a shrug. A dismissal. It stoked the ember that had already been burning inside her. More comments followed, each one polite but lacking warmth. Most relatives sent short messages. Congrats, or looks good. The kind of messages people send when they don't know what else to say. But the longest silence came from Lila. Minutes slipped by. 10, 15, 20. No reply. That silence felt louder than any criticism. Ava locked her phone and leaned back, her heart pounding. She thought sharing her condo would make her feel seen, but instead she felt exposed, misunderstood. And the feeling didn't fade. It grew, curling around her like a shadow, whispering that maybe her family never planned to see her at all. For the first time, Ava wondered if she had spent her entire life waiting for approval that would never come. And the moment that thought formed, something inside her shifted. Not dark, not cruel, but sharp enough to tell her that this story wasn't just about a condo. It was about finally confronting everything she had been running from. And this time, she wasn't backing down. Ava didn't expect the silence to bother her as much as it did, but the weight of it followed her through the rest of the day like a shadow she couldn't shake. She kept checking her phone, hoping for a message from Lila that explained everything away. Something simple like, sorry, just busy. But nothing came. The longer the silence stretched, the more it twisted inside her, turning a small mistake into something that felt like a crack across her entire world. By evening, the family group chat lit up again, but this time with a new message, a private one from Lila. The moment Ava saw her sister's name, her heart jumped, but the excitement faded when she read the short, stiff line. "Why did you post those photos today? You really surprised everyone." It felt unnecessary. Unnecessary. The words struck her like a sudden gust of cold wind. Ava read the message twice, 3 times, wondering if she misunderstood. But no, the meaning was clear. Her sister believed Ava had done something wrong simply by celebrating her own life. Ava started typing a reply, erased it, started again, erased it again. Words formed too quickly, fueled by hurt. "You always get attention. You never notice me. You think everything I do is about you." But she didn't send any of them. She just stared at the screen, stunned by how easily Lila dismissed her. Before she could think through her feelings, her mother called. Ava almost didn't answer, but she forced herself to pick up. Her mother's voice was calm at first, but carried an edge that made Ava's stomach tighten. "Sweetheart, why did you post those photos right after your sister shared her news? It came off competitive. No one expects that from you." Ava felt heat rise in her chest. She tried to explain, softly, slowly, that she wasn't trying to steal Lila's moment. She tried to say she had planned to share the news for days. She tried to tell her mother how proud she was of her condo. But each time she spoke, her mother responded with a disappointed sigh that made Ava feel smaller. "You should have waited," her mother said. "It just wasn't the right time." When the call ended, Ava sat alone in her condo, surrounded by bright, clean walls that suddenly felt too sharp. She leaned her head back against the couch, replaying every word. No one asked how long she had worked for this place. No one asked how she felt. All they cared about was Lila's moment, Lila's feelings, Lila's story. Bitterness rose in Ava like a tide she couldn't hold back. She didn't want to feel angry. She didn't want to feel overshadowed. But the truth was simple and painful. She was tired. Tired of being quiet. Tired of being overlooked. Tired of working twice as hard only to be treated like she was the one causing problems. For years, she had swallowed small hurts, thinking they didn't matter. But now she realized they had piled up inside her, stacking layer after layer until they became something heavier than she could ignore. The messages from her family didn't cause the storm inside her. They simply revealed it. Ava stood up and walked through her condo, letting her hand glide along the smooth edges of the counter, the clean glass of the balcony door. This was the life she had built on her own. She had chosen every step, worked for every dollar, sacrificed sleep, comfort, and time to make this dream real. How could her family dismiss that so easily? Anger burned low and steady in her chest, but beneath it was something else, a fierce desire to prove that she wasn't an afterthought in her own family. She wanted to show them she wasn't the quiet, simple sister who stayed in the background. She wanted them to see the strength she had carried on her shoulders for years. A new kind of determination settled inside her. She didn't want revenge in the traditional sense. Not cruelty, not harm. What she wanted was recognition. She wanted justice for the parts of herself she had hidden away. She wanted her family to understand that she had grown, changed, become someone strong. And yet, as she paced across the living room, doubt whispered in the back of her mind. Am I doing this because I want to be seen? Or because I want them to feel what I feel? The question made her pause. She wanted revenge, yes, but not out of malice. She wanted balance. She wanted fairness. She wanted the years of silence to finally mean something. Later that night, when the city lights glowed against the windows like scattered stars, Ava picked up her phone and reread every message. Each line pulled her deeper into her own thoughts. She saw patterns she never wanted to admit. Her mother excusing Lila's mistakes, praising her successes. Family members treating Ava's accomplishments like small footnotes. Friends always assuming Lila was the leader between them. Ava wasn't jealous of Lila. She never had been. What hurt was how easily everyone forgot that Ava had dreams too. That she struggled too. That she succeeded too. As she sat by the window, the city humming below her, she felt her mind sharpen. She didn't want to lash out, but she also didn't want to shrink. The thought of confronting her family made her hands shake, but part of her knew it needed to happen. If not now, then when? She remembered a moment from childhood. Lila winning a school award while Ava held her own small certificate. Her mother rushed forward to hug Lila first. Ava waited, smiling politely, but no one came. That tiny, quiet memory suddenly came back with startling clarity. She had spent her whole life waiting. Waiting for attention. Waiting for praise. Waiting for someone to notice she was hurting. But waiting had brought her nothing. Ava stood again, feeling a new fire in her chest. She didn't want revenge that destroyed anything, but she wanted revenge that restored something. Her voice. Her presence. Her worth. She started pacing again, imagining conversations she might have with her mother, with Lila, with anyone who acted like her success was less important. She pictured telling them how they made her feel, not to hurt them, but because she deserved to be understood. A small part of her wondered if she was being dramatic, but a larger part finally spoke louder. You're allowed to want to be seen. As the night deepened, Ava found herself planning without meaning to. Planning what she would say, how she would say it, how she could show her family that she wasn't the same quiet girl anymore. She imagined walking into a family gathering with confidence, not waiting for approval. She imagined answering questions clearly, not downplaying her achievements. She imagined confronting the comments that always made her feel small. She didn't want to fight her family. She wanted them to meet her where she stood now. Not where they assumed she still was. But revenge, even a soft kind, had a way of pulling at her thoughts. She imagined telling Lila exactly how her message had hurt. She imagined telling her mother she deserved better than very nice. She imagined the shock, the silence, the moment they realized she wasn't holding back anymore. The thought sent a rush through her, power mixed with fear. She wasn't used to the idea of standing up for herself. But the more she thought about it, the more she realized she had spent too much of her life swallowing words that should have been spoken. Tonight changed something in Ava. Her condo wasn't just a home. It was proof that she had built a life worth respecting, and she was ready to defend that. As midnight neared, Ava finally set her phone aside. Her mind still buzzed, her heart still tight, but she felt something new beneath the storm inside her. Resolve. Tomorrow she would face them. Tomorrow she would speak. Tomorrow she would stop being the quiet one waiting for validation. For the first time in a long time, Ava wasn't afraid of the conflict ahead. She was ready for it. She wanted it. Because for the first time, revenge didn't feel like anger. It felt like freedom. ChatGPT said, Ava arrived at the family dinner with a steady breath and a quiet determination she didn't recognize in herself. For days she had rehearsed what she wanted to say, imagined how the conversations might unfold, pictured every possible reaction from her family. But now, standing before the familiar front door of the house she grew up in, her hands trembled for the first time. The doorbell sounded louder than usual, echoing through her chest. She could feel her pulse racing, fast and sharp, but she refused to step back. She wasn't here to cause a scene. She was here to stop hiding. Her mother opened the door with a smile that seemed a little strained, the kind of smile someone wears when they're unsure how the night will go. "Ava, sweetheart," she said softly, pulling her into a brief hug. It wasn't cold, but it wasn't warm either. It felt careful, too careful. Ava nodded, trying not to overthink it. Inside, the dining room glowed with warm lights, and the smell of dinner floated through the air. Everything looked the same as always, yet Ava felt like she had walked into a different world. She took her seat, noticing how the conversation stayed light and surface level. Her mother and a few relatives chatted about everyday things, avoiding anything close to the condo conversation. It felt deliberate, like everyone was waiting to see how she would act. Then Leela walked in. Her sister's steps slowed the moment she saw Ava. Something unreadable flickered across her face. Not anger, but tension, maybe uncertainty. She greeted the room politely before taking the seat across from Ava. They exchanged a brief glance that said everything without a word. They needed to talk, but neither knew how to begin. Dinner started, and for a while, Ava listened in silence. Her mother kept giving Layla gentle attention, passing her dishes, asking about her house, complimenting the paint colors she picked. Each comment landed softly, but carried a weight Ava felt deep in her chest. She had expected this, yet it still stung. But instead of shrinking, she sat straighter. She wasn't the same Ava who used to disappear into the background. Finally, during a quiet moment, Lila cleared her throat. "Ava," she said, almost hesitant, "can we talk after dinner?" The table fell silent. Her mother's fork paused mid-air. Ava nodded calmly, even though her heart squeezed. "Sure," she said. Dinner felt endless after that. Ava's thoughts moved fast, jumping between anger and understanding, hurt and hope. She didn't want to fight. She just wanted the truth spoken out loud for once. She wanted to be heard. When the dishes were cleared and conversations drifted into smaller groups, Lila motioned toward the backyard. Ava followed her out into the cool air. The sky was dim, and the porch light cast a soft glow over them. It was quiet enough to hear the wind brushing the leaves. Layla crossed her arms, not defensive but nervous. "I guess I'll start," she said. "The day you posted your condo pictures. It surprised me. It felt sudden. It felt like you were trying to overshadow me." Ava inhaled slowly. She didn't respond right away. She wanted her words to be clear, not rushed. "I wasn't trying to overshadow you," she said. "I was excited. I worked so hard for that place. And when I saw everyone praising you, it just reminded me how often people don't notice what I do." Leela frowned gently. "But we do notice. Maybe we don't always say it right. But—" "No," Ava cut in, her tone still calm. "You don't. Not really." She met her sister's eyes steadily. "Think about it. When was the last time you asked about my job? Or my plans? Or what I'm working toward? You don't know anything about my life unless I say it directly. And half the time, even when I say it, no one reacts." Lila's shoulders lowered, some of her defensiveness melting away. "I didn't realize you felt that way," she said quietly. Ava nodded. "I know you didn't. I never told you. But I've been carrying this for years. Always being compared. Always being treated like your achievements mattered more. And when I finally did something huge, something I was proud of, it felt like no one cared." Layla looked away, guilt flickering across her face. "When I saw your photos, I felt, I don't know, almost threatened, like you were trying to take attention from me. But hearing you now, I realize it wasn't about me at all. It was about you finally wanting your moment." Ava exhaled, relieved by the honesty. "I'm sorry it came off the wrong way," she said. But I'm not sorry for posting it. I deserve to show what I've done. The wind brushed past them again, cool and steady. Leela nodded slowly. You're right, she said. I should have reacted differently. She paused, then added, It's hard sometimes, being the one who's always expected to shine. I get scared that if people praise you, they'll forget me. I know that sounds silly, but it's true. Ava blinked. She hadn't expected that. She had never imagined her sister felt insecure too. It was a strange moment, a crack in their old roles, revealing new truths neither had seen before. Lila, Ava said softly, I never wanted to compete with you. I just wanted to be seen too. We both deserve that. Her sister's expression softened, and she nodded again, this time with real understanding. Yeah, she said. We do. Before they could continue, their mother stepped outside, wringing her hands nervously. Is everything all right? She asked. Ava turned to her, not with anger but with clarity she had built through years of silence. Mum, she said gently, I need to say something. Not to fight. Just to be honest. Her mother hesitated but nodded. Ava continued, choosing each word carefully. When I posted the condo photos, I wasn't trying to take anything away from Lila. But when you brushed it off, it hurt. It felt like my hard work didn't matter. Like my achievements are always small compared to hers. Her mother's eyes widened slightly, as if seeing something she had overlooked for a long time. Ava, I didn't mean to make you feel that way, she murmured. I know, Ava said. But I did feel that way. And I need you to understand it. Silence stretched between them, but it wasn't harsh. It was thoughtful, heavy, real. Her mother stepped closer and gently took Ava's hands. I'm proud of you, she said, voice trembling. I don't say it enough. Maybe I've leaned on you being the strong, quiet one. Maybe I assumed you didn't need as much. I'm sorry. Truly. Ava felt her throat tighten. It wasn't perfect, but it was a start. A real start. The three of them stood there, not completely healed, but finally honest. And that honesty felt like air after years underwater. As the night went on, Ava felt something inside her settle. Not triumph, not victory, but release. The desire for revenge that had been burning so fiercely now felt distant, almost unnecessary. She realized she didn't want her family to hurt. She wanted them to understand. She wanted change, not payback. She remembered the rush she felt days earlier when she imagined confronting them harshly. Imagined making them feel small. That now she understood something deeper. That kind of revenge would only trap her in the cycle she wanted to escape. Standing there under the porch light, listening to her mother apologize and her sister admit her own fears, Ava felt a strange calm. Revenge would have given her a moment of satisfaction. But this honest connection, gave her something far more valuable. Peace. Later, as she drove home, the city lights spread across the horizon, and Ava felt lighter than she had in years. She didn't need to win. She didn't need to prove anything. She only needed to speak her truth.